And welcome back for another fun episode of the Huge Boob Corner. Today, my guest is somebody who you probably know her mainly from her adult work, but she has blossomed into a woman of many, many endeavors, some of which we're going to get into today. She is spunky, she's feisty, she's sassy, and she's classy. And of course, she's beautiful and busty. Rebecca Love, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. It's really exciting. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah?
Really excited for you to be here. Sorry.
No, I am glad he's excited to be here.
Yeah, I am. I'm always excited to be here, to be fair. So anyway, so yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm glad we were able to meet each other at AVN initially, because that's
right. Because our introduction was Christy Canyon.
Yep.
And she was like, "Hey, I did this show. I had a lot of fun. Do you want to do it?" I go, "Okay." He goes, he's right there. I'm like, oh, so I turn around and there you were.
Yeah.
And
we
it
had
was
a good conversation. Yeah.
Great conversation.
Yeah. So I'm really happy Christy was able to
make the introduction.
Exactly. Yeah. So why don't you, I don't know how much you want to spend on this, but if you want to give a little history about your time in the adult industry and.
Well, back in my day, let's see, I started as a cocktail waitress in a strip club, and then they didn't have enough dancers that night. So I got on the stage and I was scared, but they did the countdown. 1, 2, 3. I went, boom, took the tits out. I made so much money that night that I was addicted. I was like, that's the easiest. All I have to do is flash these and boom, I don't have to serve drinks anymore.
Yeah.
So then I learned that you actually have to have a technique and a hustle. Then I saw a feature one night and I'm like, how do I become a feature? And that was Devin Michaels. And
okay.
I started picking people's brains. The fastest way was to be a porn star.
Mm-hmm.
So Amazon was just coming onto scene. This is when they didn't make money and they sold books. So I bought a book, How to Be a Porn Star.
Interesting.
Right? Like that book was on there.
Yeah.
So I read it. And I highlighted everything. Like
Porn star for dummies kind of thing?
Right. It was like my Bible. I knew
Nice.
where to go. I knew who to talk to. I knew the etiquette. And then I got a couple interviews with Larry Flint, Playboy, and Jim South. And it snowballed from there. And then I started featuring. Like I just started picking up things. What else can I say about it? And then Skinamax came along because a girl didn't show up. I lived right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody recommended me. Not somebody. Nicole Sheridan recommended me.
Oh, nice.
And I showed up. They loved me. They did all the busty movies. So
yes.
Hello.
Yeah, you were qualified. Yes.
And I did all these Skinamax movies during porn.
Mm-hmm.
And I still did them up until about 2013. And my last movie wasn't really a Skinamax. My tits never came out. I was in lingerie, but the tits never came out.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh my God, we forgot to get the tits out because the girls' tits were out.
Yeah.
How come mine weren't? My fans were a little disappointed.
I can imagine.
But I did Girls, Guns, and Blood. That went on Amazon because it's only R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
And my next movie coming up is a horror movie.
Oh, wow.
Right? It's going to be my first one.
Okay.
I love doing horror. I mean, doing horror. I've never done horror.
Yeah.
I love horror movies. And I always had it on my bucket list. I got to be in one. I don't care how bad it is.
Yeah.
I need to be in one.
Yeah.
So Ginger Lynn actually got me an introduction to Frank, which I can't remember the company's name. I'll know more after I do the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to go do a scene where it's going to be messy and bloody. And I'm super excited about that.
Boobs out or no? You don't know yet.
I don't think so. I think his stuff is more friendly for YouTube and other things. So I don't know if the boobs come out. I wish, because that would be like, all right, guys, I know where to bring you now. The boobs came out.
Yeah.
But
That's always a crowd pleaser.
it really is. But then, you can't put it everywhere.
I know. Well, and I mean, the where I got introduced to you was obviously Score, your work with them.
Oh, that's right. Score Magazine. So I just qualified because Score Magazine has very busty.
Yeah.
And I was only a double D, but they took me and I worked for them for a few times. They flew me into Florida. I forgot all about Score.
Really?
How could I forget them?
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's
Vivid, Wicked, VCA. Yeah, Score was right up there.
Yeah.
They had a niche.
They did. They did. I mean, they were obviously a giant influence on me and what the fact that because I loved Huge Boobs and I had never heard of them. And then when I discovered them, I was like, whoa, this is for me. This is like, if I were to create a magazine, this is the one I would make.
This is the one, the busty.
Yeah. So
are they still around?
They are. I think they do. They think they focus mainly on online content. Like their print, I think, has gone to quarterly now. So they only release, I think, 4 magazines a year.
So it's mainly online, and then once in a while I get print.
Yeah.
Which I gotta say, print still works when we're at conventions and stuff because we have something to sign.
Yeah.
Can't sign digital.
No. Well, and you still see people like, Christy had this, a lot of, you have DVDs of your a lot of performers still have their
Some of
DVDs,
us
their
VHS.
stuff. Right? Which, I was talking about that with Christy and then also my last guest, Ryan Connor. So just about how the industry, because going from physical media to, online media.
Right. Not tangible.
Yeah. And which is, I can understand why it's obviously preferable. There's less overhead with that. You don't have to actually make anything.
No, less. Yeah. Inventory. I mean, you still have to have storage in the cloud.
Exactly.
But less. But you just get some things printed out. And a lot of times the companies will do it for you.
Yeah. Have people because would people bring you when they meet you at conventions or stuff like that? Like, the boxes of the stuff you were in or some of the magazines you were in.
So what I used to do, because I was on the road featuring, so I'd sell the movies, I would go down to Vivid Video and I would buy my DVDs at a very discounted rate. Mm-hmm. And they would just give me how many I wanted. And it's usually like a group. I usually ordered about 100. So, and they were like $5 each.
Yeah.
And then you sold them for like 20, 30, whatever.
Wow. Gotta love that, right? You
gotta love that. I mean, you could walk home. The lap dance is where I made my real money.
Yeah.
But the DVDs sold well.
Well, multiple revenue streams.
Absolutely.
That was the important thing. I mean, now that comparable to now where you're on multiple different platforms generating revenue from OnlyFans, from Twitch, from...
So it just changed, right? So before it was doing the movies and you featured and websites, because I got in at the late 90s. So I was, I just buy books and learn things. So I would do my website and I did have a membership. Oh, I had $1 verification that you were old enough to look at my nudies. And I made great money just off that.
Really?
$1 verification.
Because a lot of people would just pay that. It's $1. What's
$1?
$1? What's $1?
It's a candy bar.
Yeah.
So they go into the candy shop and get the candy bar, but it was a way I could do it where, granted, they could steal a credit card or they could do whatever, but it was my way of feeling comfortable about my stuff out there and not for the kids.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So as the industry was changing, is that when you started to look to do other things like beyond adult work?
I get bored fast.
Okay.
I get bored fast and I have to do a whole bunch of things or I'm not stimulated enough and I get bored with the routine. That's probably why I'm not a 9-to-5-er.
Yeah.
And the corporate thing, I don't know if I could follow the rules. I try to, but as soon as something doesn't make sense to me, I'm a little outspoken and I feel like it's a time waster.
Yeah.
So, what was the question again? I'm sorry. It's so early. You
it's
made me
okay.
get up
I
early.
appreciate that. No, just as the industry was changing because it was
right.
Yeah.
So I've always been on the thing of change because I'm always evolving. Like when Pornhub came on to scene and people are like, oh man, now we're not gonna make any money. And I'm like, what? What? No, they're taking the power away from the studios and all that. It's not like you get the royalties. And get on there and start talking to the people.
Yeah.
And that's how you get your fan base. And then whatever you do, they're going to follow.
Yeah.
Because you were super nice. You understood. It's old material. It's an advertising platform. Think of it like social media on steroids, and they're not going to ban you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure it's interesting. Do you get people that say, "Oh, I love doing this movie," and that movie came out in like 2005 or 2006? Like they still remember.
They remember what you're wearing. They remember what you did.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I was in that movie? Because sometimes it's a blur and they change the titles because they resell, right?
Yeah,
so they keep.
They put they'll put scenes that you shot for one into a different movie.
Right, a compilation.
Yeah.
They do that, or the Skinemax changed their name, and I'm like, I don't remember that title. Yeah, so, but I love it when they're down to detail because I'm just like, I was wearing what, and I was doing who? That's what his name was.
Well, and that's the thing. It's amazing how special the stuff is to the fans. Like because again, I can remember certain scenes for certain performers that are my favorites, or films. Like I just posted the other day. One of my favorite titles was a film is from like 94 something. It was called The Boob Cage, and it had Kayla Cleavage, it had Minka, it had Lisa Lips, and Kim Eternity. And,
I knew all of them except Kim Eternity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but like they're Kayla and Minka, obviously I also would love to have on the show at some point. What was the plot? I can't remember what the story of it was.
The details.
I just know mainly who was in it. Yeah. But there was another one that was from a little earlier that they were both in called The Duke of Knockers. I do remember what that one was about.
Yeah.
Which was about.
Was it a fraternity?
No. Oh. It was about like this English, lord aristocrat who lived in a castle, and they actually shot the movie it looked like in a part of it in a castle, and basically him trying to find like the love of his life, but he has to go through a revolving door of super busty women to find who that is.
Like a harem?
Yeah, not like a harem, more like he's got like there's like his super busty maid, and there's like the super busty valet and chauffeur, and he basically, and then there's other obviously male performers in there that are mixed in with doing it, but just the whole like him trying to, and there was, trying to find, and and
he found her at the end.
Yes. So, and I think Kayla was in the first one. And I think Minka was in the second one. So, because they did two.
Okay.
But like porn features like that, because they don't really make those anymore. Like just
that was high end. That was budget, man.
Yeah.
That's when the studios were raking it in. So they would rent a location, and it would be very glamorous, just like a mainstream movie.
Mm-hmm.
You'd show up, there'd be itinerary, it'd be in a beautiful location.
Craft service. You'd
go to wardrobe, they would doll you up and get your outfit ready. There was a whole process. Now it's like doing a YouTube video.
It varies, because I know that there are still studios like Brazzers and stuff like that they'll still have like productions, that sets where you're shooting 8-10 hours from start to finish.
Brazzers probably one of the last.
Yeah.
But there'll be a few.
And I know that like things like Digital Playground still around. And I think they still do like their parody movies, like their superhero parodies and stuff. But that's kind of it. Like it seems like
I'm so out of the loop.
I'm actually not as clued in as I used to be as well, because I just, I haven't really been following. It's just so much to follow.
Yeah, it was very glamorous back in the day. But I have been on a few Browser sets. I'll do Cameo, and my girlfriend Jocelyn Stone works for Trans Angels and stuff. So I'll be on those sets, and they are glamorous.
Yeah.
They have wardrobe. They have the location. So I do know it exists. It's just a rarity.
Well, because nowadays all you need is basically your phone. And if your phone can film.
I film everything on my phone.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything. Because OnlyFans is a fan-based site, so it's kind of like a Facebook on steroids.
Yeah. And I think the idea for that is to just have as much, content coming out, even if it's like a 5-minute clip of, you putting on a bra or you just doing whatever.
Absolutely. A webcam clip, photos, throwback Thursdays, titty Tuesdays. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with it.
Well, and it's interesting because there's some people I've reached out to that like they got into when the internet was still, relatively new. So like they started like because amateur stuff back then was super, super popular, and it was basically just, and some still are doing that.
I think amateur sells very well now.
Yeah. Because it has a more, I guess a more
authentic.
Real, quality to it. Whereas you feel maybe more connected to the person.
Well, that's why I think the fan-based sites work, because you're cutting out all the middlemen and talking to the individual directly. And she's getting the gifts. I call them gifts. She's getting the gifts and you're supporting her career.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah. So when you started to like phase out the adult work, what were some of the stuff that you started getting into that? Like as a performer, because you don't really perform much anymore, right? Except for
because I settled down. So
yeah, and that
there was a compromise when you do that.
Yes.
So I was still doing Skinemax because there's no penetration or anything. But I got to tell you, Skinemax, because it's the lovey-dovey and the kissing and the dry humping like teenagers. I find that a little bit more intimate than just straight on sex.
Than just doing what
you can get lost a little bit in the dialogue and the script and go, whoa, bring it back.
Yeah. That's understandable.
But I still did that. And then what happened was it's just word of mouth and work ethics that you get onto other projects. And I think horror would be my next phase because it doesn't matter how old you are. And the budget's about the same. So
True.
It's a good transition. Plus, it's my favorite genre.
Yeah. So, so about horror, then let's talk about some horror movie stuff then. Do you have like a top, you don't have to.
So hard.
I know. It might
my
be
go-to Christmas horror is Gremlins.
Yeah.
Love Gremlins.
Yeah.
Jaws is a classic, and just because that music.
Yeah.
I still get in the ocean today hearing dun dun.
Yeah, John Williams, yep.
Yep.
2 notes.
It's all, my gosh. But what brilliant. When Bruce didn't work, the shark.
Yeah.
It was like, bring the orchestra.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. I'm old school 80s, so give me slasher with Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
I love Army of Darkness. I like it a little jokey.
Nice. Bruce Campbell. He was as Ash. Such a great, like, I feel like he should have had a bigger career. Like
he did go on to sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah, he has, but I feel like because he had like I thought he had pretty solid movie star looks, like especially
he looked like a superhero.
He did. He had a very strong masculine face and shit. Like but he had he had so much charisma.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Especially by the time he gets to Army, because I think Army. I know a lot of people probably prefer either. I think Evil Dead 2 is considered the best of those, but.
Yeah, Evil Dead's not my favorite, but Army of Darkness is.
Yeah.
But when he produced the Evil Dead in 2013 and it reversed it with the girl, I thought it was pretty good. It's gory as fuck.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah. Okay. You're fine.
It's very gory if you're into that, which I'm into all of the horror genre, except for the ones that are, I have to finish or fill in things, or it's that psychological thriller, but the ending really never comes. It's by your perspective.
Okay.
Those really piss me off.
Would you consider, say, Blair Witch a part of that?
Not my favorite. I found footage. Not my favorite.
I don't like that either, just because there's so little cinematic quality to it.
But again, I have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Well, the whole thing with Blair Witch was that did this actually happen? Because at the time, the whole found footage genre was so new. No one had really done it the way that Blair Witch had. And people were thinking, no, this actually, because it was filmed like it was shot on just like a home video.
Oh, is that why it was so popular? Because people thought it was real?
Yeah. And the novelty of it too.
If I would have thought it was real, then I would have had a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because then it would have got me.
Well, because you come from, because again, I'm not, I'll be honest, horror is not my favorite genre of film.
I got to know. What's your favorite genre?
I don't, I used to be like very inclined towards like action and sci-fi, but honestly, as I got older, I feel like you can have great movies in any genre and you can have awful movies in any genre.
Sure.
So for me, it just became more about like, the directors, the actors. So for instance, like right now, my favorite director is probably Christopher Nolan, just because Nolan's stuff is just so.
Did he do Batman?
He did Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. So, but like his most recent movie was Oppenheimer. And
that was a good movie.
It was. And I mean, the fact that he was able to make a 3-hour R-rated drama that was about a scientist, and the movie made almost $1 billion. Like it
was so good. But I also think it's because it was real.
Well, yeah.
The reality part of going, this really fucking happened.
Yeah. And obviously the whole cast, was fantastic. Like Robert Downey Jr. is great to see him doing, some real acting again.
Yeah.
Like I like him as Tony Stark. He's fine as Iron Man. He's fun. But I think people forgot that he's actually a really good actor. And
he's amazing.
Yeah.
But he had a great comeback.
He did. Oh man, that's if they're saying that if he wins an Oscar, which by the time I don't know if by the time this will be posted, the Oscars will have happened. I don't think it will. But if he wins an Oscar, they'll say it's one of probably the best Hollywood comeback stories of all time, considering that he had such a rough 90s, with drug problems and rehab.
If we grew up with all the cameras and stuff in the 90s, thank God we didn't.
Yeah.
And you're under that if you're under that microscope, it's going to come out like that. God, the things that I did in my 20s.
Yeah.
I would never want out there.
Well, and they say that I think some of it was a tribute. Did you ever see a movie he was in? It was an 80s movie called Less Than Zero. It was with him, Andrew McCarthy, and Jamie Gertz.
I would totally watch that.
Yeah, it's based on a Bret Easton Ellis novel he wrote American Psycho.
I loved American Psycho.
Yeah. So, but it's because his whole genre is like are young, pretty people that have a lot of problems, essentially, or most of his books.
Yeah.
But Less Than Zero is about it's McCarthy, Downey Jr., and Jamie Gertz all play like high school friends, and Andrew McCarthy leaves to go to the East Coast to go to college, and then he comes back and he finds out that Robert Downey Jr.'s character has basically become addicted to drugs, and he's basically doing like. He's basically prostituting himself for another guy played by James Spader, who he always plays.
This is a great cast.
It is.
Why haven't I seen this?
Yeah, it's a fantastic film, and it's got a great soundtrack. It's great, really really good stuff. But because his character in the movie is supposed to have like a really heavy drug problem, I think that's where they say that's where it initially started for him.
Oh.
I don't know if it was a method choice to be like, I'm actually going to do drugs.
I don't know. I feel like in your 20s, you're invincible and you're experimenting and you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
So it just happens to align at the same time.
Well, and in the 80s, I mean, because drugs were so readily. I mean, I guess if you're a celebrity, drugs are always available to you if you want them.
If you want them, we live in Vegas.
I know, yeah, true. So anyway, though, but to go back to horror movies and stuff, I do like horror films, but I like horror films that are story driven, that are actually like The Shining.
That's a good one.
Yeah, The Thing, John Carpenter's
The
Thing.
That's a great one.
That's probably my favorite one. And that movie still disturbs me because of all the real creature effects.
Dude, that could happen.
It's and the paranoia. The whole reason that movie is so effective is because you don't know.
Right, and it's a social experiment too.
Yeah.
What would people do?
Exactly. If you couldn't trust anybody around you. So, and you're in this isolated place. I didn't see not the remake, but it was like the remake prequel that came out back in 2011. Yeah. So, I love David Cronenberg's The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my gosh, that's good too. I like sci-fi because Alien is one of my favorites.
Mine too. Yeah, I will say Alien and Aliens, both of them.
I like them all. I don't care if you give me a Predator. I don't care. I like them all. I like anything with aliens. Even my porn.
Oh, interesting. So I mean, is it like, so what is it about horror films that you like so much? Is it just because it's like
a fun ride?
Okay, so it's
you get about a couple hours and jump scares are cheap, but I like them sporadically.
Yeah.
Not full constant because that would just annoy the hell out of me. But I like the joy of getting lost in the story and getting scared. Like I can't watch zombie shows by myself.
Really?
And I think it's because I live near a graveyard or whatever. I don't know. There's something about zombies that scare the shit out of me, but not if I'm with a group.
Okay.
But as soon as I'm solo, like I have a VR headset and I downloaded Saints and Sinners, and it was The Walking Dead. and it's a game. And when you have a headset on, they can come from behind, around, everywhere. And I didn't get past the tutorial. I was like, I'm done. Not doing this.
Yeah. So when it's interesting because one reason I don't like horror movies, I don't like being scared. Like, I don't like that feeling. To me.
Do you like roller coasters?
I do, but that's a different kind of thrill to me. Like, for instance, especially because jump scares I hate, because it's like if somebody comes behind you and like startles you, and I don't like that feeling.
Okay.
But also, I for me getting like when I was a kid, I was afraid of the dark. So because
me too.
Don't like, but again, it wasn't watching horror films doesn't create that kind of excitement. It's more just. Because I don't know, do they even make horror movies now that aren't filled with jump scares? Like they're more atmospheric, they're more like almost unsettling.
There's always going to be one or two, and that I can handle one or two. But when you start doing almost every scene, it's like, all right, I'm done. Like, you're just being cheap.
And you can start to actually see how they set it up because it's like, oh, they creep towards it, and then and it's like, oh, you hear the music kind of going with it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, when you think it's going to happen, okay, silence, and then bam, and then it hits you.
I know.
And you're just like, okay,
whatever. Or I'll just look down.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, okay, I know what's coming. Something's going to jump out.
Yeah.
Nothing jumped out. Motherfucker, they tricked me.
So then, were there some recent? I know people really liked like The Conjuring or Hereditary.
No.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I wasted my life. An hour and a half in the movie theater. You either love it or hate it. I hated it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it.
It was so drawn out. I thought it was going to get better, and it was a disappointment. But my things is creature features.
Okay.
I like monsters. I like sci-fi.
Okay.
I like ones with plots like The Shining and stuff. I wish I could say something that's been recent where I can go, oh, I really like this horror movie, but I can't pull.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with horror movies is that it's very, I want to say horror might be the film genre that's most susceptible to like following a trend of when one movie's really successful, then all the movies copy that.
Because they have a loyal fan base.
Yeah.
No matter what, we will support the horror genre, no matter what, because we're loyal.
Yeah.
Oh, another horror movie? Yeah, we're there.
Yeah. But like how, for instance, in the 80s, it was like the slasher movie was the defining, subgenre of horror back then. I mean, you had some ones that were different, like, again, John Carpenter, who did The Fog, which I haven't seen with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Anything John Carpenter touches, I will watch.
Yeah, Prince of Darkness.
I will watch it all.
Yep, and
Halloween.
They Live, which I don't know if that's a horror much.
I love that one.
Yeah, with Roddy Piper.
Oh, when he does that line, bubblegum and
yeah, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Do you know how he got that line?
No.
So, because of wrestling, he writes down certain lines, and he just opened up his little book, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to just use that line here. Mm-hmm. And it worked like that. It's magic.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing, because I love John Carpenter. I think my favorite John Carpenter movie is probably Big Trouble in Little China.
I don't think I saw that.
Really?
Never saw that.
Oh my God, oh my goodness.
I am looking up these movies as soon as I go home.
Oh yeah, well I'll have to text you like some of the ones we talked about. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell. It's fantastic, like Chinese mysticism, fantasy, action.
Okay.
And it's just such like you watch it and you're like, man, this is such a creative film. In terms of,
it's a fun ride.
Yeah, it definitely. But like Kurt Russell is just oozing with this machismo, almost to the point where it's supposed to be comedic. Like because he's supposed to be this very kind of
like when he did L.A. What was the one where he's escaped from L.A.? He was a little
yeah, but he was his character's a lot. Snake Plissken because that was because there was another that was Escape from L.A. is a sequel to Escape from New York. Which came out in the 80s. So, but his character's meant to be a little more, kind of, this kind of quiet badass. Whereas his character in Big Trouble in Little China, Jack Burton, is this very kind of loud, brash, guy who kind of is a little, I don't want to say he's inept, but I'll say he's a little too eager to do something that he kind of doesn't, it's a great movie.
All right. I'm going to have to watch this just to get what the hell you're saying down.
Yeah, true. But John Carpenter, like, he's somebody who really carved out because he's a director that at one point, like, people just know.
But he's the composer.
He composed the
so
music.
many facets.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. It seems like it sucks that Hollywood now just seems so mired in just redoing things.
Well, there's just so much out there now. So much. With all the streaming services, it is, what's the word? Not diluted. That's not the word I'm going for. It's just
oversaturated.
Yeah, thank you.
That's okay.
That's the word. Thank you.
Well, yeah, all these streaming services, there's just too much stuff to choose from.
Too much. I have to go on recommendations now. Like if my friend goes, oh, yeah, you got to watch this. Or I'm on TikTok going, all right, too many people are saying watch this, like Yellowstone. I'm like, all right, you know what? I did 1883, which anything Sam Elliott touches, I'm watching.
Yeah.
Oh,
big Sam Elliott fan?
Oh, my God. Hall pass right there. Hall pass.
Even now.
Are you kidding me? He's sexier now than he ever was. Yes. I have a thing for old men.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's funny, too, how he's always had. I actually rewatched Roadhouse recently, which he was in.
They have a new one coming out.
Yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal. But yeah, seeing Sam Elliott in the original one with Patrick Swayze, and Sam Elliott's only like, I think 47 or something in that movie. And I'm like,
oh, he's yummy.
He looked like he was in his 60s back then.
I know. I mean, that's how they did it back then. Like Golden Girls, they weren't that old.
Yeah, right. It's kind of crazy.
It is.
So, but now it's like you can do stuff where you watch movies, you can live stream you watching the movie live, and people can watch you as you're reacting to it. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Well, the watch parties, it's such a dicey thing because you have to have the copyright issues. I do it with public domain movies, like not Dawn of the Dead. What am I thinking of? Night of the Living Dead in black and white.
Oh, the George A. Romero. Yeah.
I can do a watch party live on Twitch and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually I wanted to talk to you about Twitch. So how long have you been on Twitch? 2017
I started, and it's my guilty little pleasure. Like, it's not something I generate a lot of revenue from.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it's taught me a lot of things with technology and how to set up certain things and use OBS. And it got me into gaming again and the VR headset. And now I film in the Metaverse because of Twitch.
Interesting.
So I will go into these VR worlds, and I have a girlfriend, little Stella Marie. She actually has a headset too, and we'll make little compilations. We call them frisky avatars.
Okay, yeah, we were gonna, you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, well, this all came from Twitch.
Okay.
So my Twitch, sorry, I got ahead of myself.
That's all right.
My Twitch started as just, I'm getting older. Mm-hmm. Let's try to keep our clothes on now, okay? So, and I love live streaming, and I've webcam since the late 90s, and I still do.
Oh.
I still webcam.
Okay.
It's a great way to just meet new people that never knew that you did anything back in the day.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Can I Google you? What's your name? Hello. It's right there in my Rebecca Love.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go for it. I dare you. So Twitch, I was like, I love horror. I haven't gamed in a while, but I can pick that up. And I love live streaming. So I got on there and I started learning, but then I started learning about technology. And I was always in technology, but OBS, that was a tough one to wrap my brain around. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't actually.
Okay. So it's an open OBS, open broadcast software. And it's like driving a stick. Mm-hmm. You got to know manually. You got to do the plugins, and I use it for almost everything now.
Okay.
So I got a group together that was horror. They just loved horror. We do trivia. We talk about movies. What's the next thing to watch? What's the new TV series? By the way, it's from on MGM Plus. Yes, I know it's another streaming service, and no, they don't sponsor me. So, so we just got like-minded people together, and now I'm just addicted to that group. Mm-hmm. It's like my therapy. Every Tuesday we get together. We talk about our lives. There's about 10 or 15 of us. I call them my scream team.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. And then we also have the chat room going. And we play horror games, multiple players, like Dead by Daylight, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, but that's going away. And we do VR chat. And that's where I make the movies.
Okay.
So I found avatars that get naked and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this on my OnlyFans.
Okay.
So we kind of do these Saturday Night Live. Well, first we did horror skits.
Okay.
With my Twitch people.
Uh-huh.
So we did the horror skits and I'm practicing with them. And I'm like, you know what? I should do some dirty skits. These avatars get naked and stuff. I'm going to start doing some satire, dirty skits of what I know, the adult industry, and start like a Saturday Night Live style and start putting them on my OnlyFans.
Okay.
So every Friday I post a new frisky clip and doing a satire about, I don't know, cam confessions, the angry vagina. It's fantasy, but it's a little comedy mixed in and stuff. So
how does it work? So like you have to program the avatars to like.
So I put the headset on.
Okay.
Because you can use your body when you use the headset.
Okay.
I have it up on the computer. My friends show up inside in the game and stuff, but it's screening on the computer. And then I'm recording that at the same time. But I'm in this world. It's so hard to like explain until you're there.
Yeah.
I have a camera. It kind of looks like a phone. And here I am filming your scene and I'm filming hers. And then I do the main shot. And then I get all these shots that you would do in the real world. But it's in this, it almost looks like Ready Player One. Did you ever watch it?
Yeah.
So it's that concept, but I'm filming in there.
Okay.
So it's going to come out 2D, not 3D, not this 360 thing. And it's going to be a little cartoonish.
Okay.
Because it's avatars and all that. One day it'll look real, but right now we're in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
And they just act out their parts. And then what I do is editing is my favorite thing to do. So I take Final Cut Pro on my Mac. I put it together and I add the music, and because music just, there's a flow to it. So you said horror movies, you can hear the music and you know the buildup, and I kind of do the same thing on there. And I put the masterpiece together, and it's one of my clips. It's very time consuming.
It sounds that way. How long does it take to make one clip?
Well, first you got to film it.
Yeah.
And let's hope everybody's headset's working. And let's hope that there's no glitches.
Yeah.
So those are my bloopers.
Okay.
So not only do I get a movie, I get bloopers.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
But it takes about a few hours to film. I don't edit the same day I film because I just used up all of my energy directing and telling everybody shut up.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I bring it over there and I will put the movie together for like the clips and stuff, the scenes. And then I take a break and I do something else. And then I start putting the music in it. It'll take me a couple days.
Oh, wow.
Only because it's my passion project. So I want it to be like a real movie.
Yeah.
Or a real 5 minutes, not a real hour and a half, but one day.
Yeah.
One day.
So, well, and it's because when it means a little more to you, it probably, you want it to be as best as it can be.
Yeah, I can't say it's my moneymaker. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it fills up my Fridays on my OnlyFans.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then the stuff that you do on your OnlyFans normally, like, do you have like just regular content that you do that's just...
If you join my OnlyFans, don't expect sexiness all the time. I mean, I'll throw it out there here and there.
Yeah.
I do a few customs, but it's not my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like when people ask for a custom, I'm like, all right, what do you want? You know, because I have to stop doing what I want to do because I'm very creative and I have to focus on what they want. And I always make sure it's what they want because I don't want to like give them bad product. So I hyper focus on their stuff. And then I go back to my projects. It could be a podcast clip where we're talking about sex. I mean, my theme is sex.
Yeah.
I do Titty Tuesdays. I do Webcam Wednesdays. Because when I'm doing webcam, I actually record the footage too. And I have my Stream Deck. So when I'm webcamming, I just make a point if something happened that was outrageous or sexy or fun during the webcam thing, and I take clips from that and make a highlight. Thursdays is usually throwback or trivia stuff, topless trivia stuff. Fridays is my Frisky Friday or Frisky Avatars.
Yeah.
Saturday, because I live stream Friday night. So every Friday night, I call it Friday date night. So everybody shows up. We have it's like Cheers. We all show up at the bar.
Okay.
And we play silly games and I get the tits out. And when I hit a milestone, I'll do a sexy dance and have fun. And then I take that and I post it on Saturday.
Okay.
So every day, and Sunday, whatever's left, I put in Sunday.
Okay.
So every day I have something.
Okay.
You show up in the morning, it's posted. I what do you call it? Automate. I put everything in. And yeah, that way I can go on cruises. I can go on vacation and I still have that going. So they always get something and I can check it and make sure. So my 3 top moneymakers, OnlyFans, webcamming, and of course, Sex Panther.
Okay.
Where they can call me on the phone and go, hey, what's up? And
okay.
Yeah, I talk to them.
So then topless is the most you go for the most part?
No. My vagina comes out.
Oh,
no.
I'm just curious.
You can get Rebecca on a stick. Sure. But it's mainly this is what people want to see, and it's more POV.
Okay.
Yeah, they're hyper focused on the boobs. Once in a while, they'll say, hey, can you put something in there? I'm like, all right, that's new.
Nice. So actually, I wanted to get your take on something, kind of a current event, if you will, a Rebecca hot take, if you will.
All right.
So I don't know do you know who Sean Evans is? He's a host on a YouTube show called Hot Ones, where they eat the chicken wings and stuff like
Yeah.
So there were headlines because they said it showed that he was dating a porn star.
Okay.
Her name was Melissa Stratton. And the news broke because they went to a Super Bowl party together here. And then the news broke by TMZ, of course, because they, do that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah. So, and then like a day or two after that, he broke up with her because of the attention. So my what I wanted to get from you is the idea of like your feelings or takes on industry people, like in that kind of a situation. Like, is that something that
I feel like they both got something out of it, right? They both got exposure.
I mean, that's
he
possible.
Probably didn't want the negative, but I mean, that's just the way it goes. I think it's a hand-in-hand business thing. He wouldn't break up with her if he was in love with her.
Okay. So like the media attention wouldn't have mattered.
I don't think so. If you really love someone, you'll take the heat.
So do you think that that was just set up then to like they get something out of it and then they go viral?
If it was me, because I'm not in her head, I don't have those powers. If it was me, I would use it as that was great publicity for me.
Okay.
And ride that wave as long as I could.
Yeah. Well, I guess because again, I don't.
But how long were they dating? Like,
I don't, and that's the thing. I
still
don't know.
No, I mean,
yeah, if it was a few weeks old.
If he loved her, he wouldn't have cared.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's the thing is because do you think that it came down to that it was the media attention that caused him to do it, or that it was already kind of, you think that it might have just been heading that way anyway?
If you're going to break up with someone because of people in your ear telling you that it's a bad choice and you can't, why would you follow that pressure when you want to be with the love of your life?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm a hopeless romantic. I feel like if that's the love of your life, it's going to work. You're going to stay with that person no matter what. It's going to be hell on you.
Yeah.
But it's only going to be hell on you until the next best story comes along.
Well, I was going to say, do you think though that there's still an element of society that says like, if you're in more the mainstream sphere, that if you're dating somebody in that realm.
Oh, we still have that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be that stigma of, they're dating a porn star. And that's, and because part of me wondered if maybe his team or the people at his YouTube show were like, hey,
everybody's in his ear.
Yeah.
Everybody. There's a stigma still.
Yeah.
But you just got to own it. If you're the porn star, or, gosh, it sounds so outdated, porn star. If you're the content creator and getting
the
naked.
adult performer, yeah.
Yeah, if you're the adult performer, you just got to own it. Like, even when people ask me what I do for a living and we're talking about civilians, I tell them the truth, but I also omit because I don't want them to pass judgment, let alone feel awkward.
Yeah.
So I usually go, I'm a content creator and I edit and do social media marketing and yada, yada, yada.
Well, it's fascinating because there are, I'm sure, a lot of celebrities that do, as they like to say, slide into DMs of a lot of performers, but it's almost like they don't want it to be known.
Public, yeah.
Yeah, that they're approaching these people. Like, I remember when I think it was a huge story when that performer, she's not a performer anymore, but Mia Khalifa, when her, I'll call it, awareness was blown up, and I think Drake, reached out to her on like Instagram or something like that. That became like a huge headline, like, oh, Drake reached out to an adult performer. And it's like, just even trying to contact becomes like a headline.
It's just a controversial topic. It's sexy. It sells.
Yeah.
That's why it'll never go away. I mean, prostitution, because I sell sex for money. I always revert to prostitution because I sell sex for money. Back in the day had stigma. So I don't think it's ever going to go away. It's just, that's what sells.
Yeah. Well, and it's just unfortunate because, I mean, I got to imagine there are some performers that, I mean, if they do actually form an emotional attachment to somebody and then for them to be broken up with in that way, it just seems like it's devastating.
I mean, look at Ginger Lynn and Charlie Sheen.
I didn't realize that they
they were so in love. And then they got in
outside forces.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be like that. I don't know if that'll ever change.
I mean, so you don't think that the adult industry will ever get some sort of
recognition
or just acceptance? Like, it's just
I feel
as another
like
part of
human
entertainment.
beings got to step on somebody.
Yeah.
And we will always be that stepping stone.
That's terrible.
OnlyFans did it. I mean, look, when they were going to get rid of all the adult entertainment, I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody to step on. And I didn't say it was right.
No. But because I think we live in a society where people want to feel like they're better than other people.
Absolutely.
Now,
for their own insecurities.
They'll figure out which group they're going to choose to be like, oh, well, we're good because we're not them.
Right.
But it seems like sex workers throughout history have always been considered the dregs of society, as it were.
Absolutely. But I got to tell you, there's a freedom in doing what I do because I'm already low, right? So it doesn't matter. What are you going to do?
Well, and that's the thing is one of the purposes of my show is to try to just, dispel some of that. Like, because I want to have people on the show and be able to just show them as people and not try to,
No, we are. The reason I say we're how can I say this? Almost like in the 70s, the flower child, like sexual freedom and you just love life. And when I hear the horror stories in the adult industry, or I didn't have that. Yeah. I had a great run. I had professional studios. I didn't have that casting couch. I didn't have, well, I might have daddy issues. I might have that. But I never was touched.
Yeah. That wasn't the catalyst.
Right. It was that freedom of owning that I love sex and it was easy and I'm a creative. I'm not a 9 to 5 and I don't want to have to be shamed. Yeah. I think slut shaming, I think it's past tense now. Yeah. And if it isn't, then that person slut shaming you is the bad guy.
Well, and that's the thing is that, and that's what happened with this, Sean Evans, Melissa Stratton stuff is once the story basically went viral, you had people coming all out of the woodwork because saying, oh, well, your girlfriend's this. And it may kind of like, I don't know if it's teasing or taunting, but just saying like,
the trolls come out.
Yeah, because because she does have content that's out there that shows her doing certain things. And of course, they think that, well, I can try to hurt this person or hurt this relationship by bringing up the fact that, oh, well, I saw you take a 12-inch dick on, in this situation or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, I agree with you.
Yep.
If you love the person, that won't matter. That's
it won't
something,
matter.
And I'm also not of the mindset that, for instance, if a woman or if anybody meets somebody that's, say, not in the industry, you fall in love with them and you leave the industry because you love them, that's wonderful. That's wonderful if you can find happiness in whatever you do.
Because there's some skill that you picked up in the adult industry that you can roll over into another career.
Yeah.
Like when people go, should I get in the adult industry? I go, no. God, no. But if you're going to do it anyway, these are the reasons why. And I tell them the pros and cons because you do have to sell your soul. I mean, if you can handle that and have a thick skin, you're golden.
Yeah.
Like when people say their family disowned them, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
My family loves me. I mean, we're not talking about my career over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, you don't have to talk about it.
We don't talk about it, but my mom does my bookkeeping. Like, it's a business.
Yeah. And that's the thing is nowadays also because you're not just a performer anymore. You're basically a small business owner.
You have to be.
Yeah, because you're running everything.
Everything.
So, and like, it's so funny because we're coming into tax season. So you'll see all these stuff
this
like.
is why I said that.
You're just like, you're going to see all this stuff like,
this is where I
have
get
to pay
exciting.
so much in taxes.
This is where my uncle fucks me.
Yeah, right. But it's so that's the thing is, and again, I think it's sad that's what people like. Again, they want, it's like society wants, as you said, people to be able to step on and people
Absolutely.
to be able to castigate and look at it. You're bad because you do this.
But if you come at it like I'm telling you, they can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Because you own it.
Yeah.
Like you took their power away. Like if somebody found out in our circle of friends, because I don't say it, but if you know it, all you have to do is ask.
Yeah.
Don't pussyfoot around it, but just ask and I'll, yeah.
So was that something like when you started doing it, like you told like your friends, like they knew from the get-go, or it was more like you kind of eased them into it?
I did the easement.
Okay.
I really eased it.
Okay.
I said a cocktail waitress when I was stripping. I was always one behind, right?
Okay.
So I gradually, like one night, I went back to my small town of 5,000 people. I went to the bar with my mom and my dad, and this guy, God, I can't even remember his name, but he was just, I knew him from where we grew up. And he comes over and sits on my mom's lap, and he goes, I've seen your daughter naked. And my mom goes,
that's a conversation starter.
Right? And I'm just standing there. I'm seeing what my mom's going to say. And she, without even flinching, goes, who hasn't?
Nice. Thumbs up mom on that one.
Right?
That's quick.
I was like, damn.
Solid.
Right. And that was it.
Nice. All right. Well,
Yeah.
and that's cool that it happened that way.
It happened because I gradually, like every progressive.
You were diplomatic. About it.
Because I didn't want to go, by the way, I'm a whore and I make money having sex. Yes. That's why when I say prostitution, I'm like, we sell sex for money, or we sell, sex for money.
I mean, sell fantasy. I think that's part of it.
Adorable. Let's be real.
I'm just saying,
I got a paycheck to have penetration. So I was a whore.
Yeah.
I upgraded from slut to whore. And when people say slut, I go, that was my internship. We all got to learn somewhere before we go to the pros. And that's what happened.
That's hilarious. All right. So now we're going to get into the final phase of the show, which is the boob talk portion of the show.
I don't know. They're kind of like mimes, man. All right. Go ahead.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Ask
We'll see if we can
anything.
draw them out.
All right.
So I'm curious. Do you love huge boobs? Like just like an observer? Not just as a.
In fact, I want mine small.
Really?
Smaller.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know the difference of not carrying them around because I've always had big boobs. I did get them done in the early 2000s, so mine are vintage and probably I need to revamp and go smaller. When I look at it's their body frame, right? I think all boobs are beautiful.
Okay.
All of them. Like they're all life without boobs would be hell.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I love them. I like them big. I like them small. I like them medium, extra large. Like my favorite part is that titty sweat. Oh my God. You just motorboat.
Nice.
And, yeah.
So what size were they before you got your implants?
They were the same. What happened was they went D-long because I have a child, which is not a child anymore. She's an adult. But I breastfed and they went D-long and I went to the doctor. I'm like, how do we fix these? How do we fix a flat? And he goes, all right, we're going to put some implants here. And he went under here. So I don't have any scarring. So they look pretty natural.
Yeah.
And he that's why when I take everything off, the bra is keeping them up. But when I take everything off, they look very natural because they were already big. You didn't have to stretch.
Yeah.
But I would like maybe a full C.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, later in life when I retire, and these are my money makers. I ain't getting rid of those.
Yeah.
I know my fan base.
Yeah.
But eventually when I retire, I would like to take them out and get them redone and still have a little implant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what do you have saline, silicone?
So back in Martyr, we did saline and they're very heavy. They're very, like if you
were to hold them, they would. Okay.
Yeah, if you would. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, I'm a chip right now.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, so I was going to say, what was it like when you first got the implants? Was it an interesting feeling?
Yeah, because they're swollen. I mean, they're up here. They're like chin rest.
Yeah.
They're swollen. That's a lot of weight. Just put some books in a backpack and turn it around. And that's on you.
Really?
But eventually you'll get used to it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know because I've had people on the show with women that have like enormous, they've got
I couldn't go that far.
2,000, 3,000, 4,000 cc's in there.
Yeah, I have 600 cc's.
Okay.
So
well, and see, that's what's interesting to me. It's interesting how it feels like there was a time when cup size was how you would say, oh, well, how big are your boobs? And they'd say, oh, well, they're double D's, they're E's, they're F's. Now
gained
it's
a little weight, so they're triple D's now.
Okay. But now it's almost like, especially if they're enhanced and you have, say, expanders or whatever, it's more how many cc's do you have?
I know that used to trip me up because only recently I started doing the cc because I found my card and it went, oh, I have 600 cc's. So now it kind of stuck with me, but I used to just go double D's. You know?
Exactly. And
that's how I knew them.
And that's how people, I think, more often would associate with them was their cup size, not the
now it's a motor size.
Yeah, right? Like cubic engine, cubic centimeter
that's
engine
exactly
right there.
It.
So, well, and that's it. I mean, how because you did. In the late 90s, because like Score, for instance, when, the mega busty, that they really kind of, I think, just with some of their models from the early 90s with like Busty Dusty and Tracy Tops, and then also, Minka and Kayla. And,
oh, yeah, they were the busty bust.
They were, and then so they kind of set the groundwork, the foundation. And I feel like that was the golden era of the extremely enhanced
I think
model.
it'll come back around.
Oh, I think it already is.
Well, first of all, it ain't going away because you have your loyal fan base.
Yeah.
They'll always be moneymakers.
Oh, yeah.
But the trend right now is the smaller ones.
Yeah, well, because butts, I think, really kind of came in and has taken the spotlight for...
Right. I have a girlfriend named Jocelyn Stone, and she's a dominatrix, and her butt is just huge.
Yep.
So when we have comparison notes on what we film and do, she's like, yeah, but you got the boobs. And then I'll go, yeah, but you got the butt. And there's just different activities you do for clips.
Well, because now there's, for instance, like I think... BBLs have gone way up in terms of the Brazilian butt lift surgeries.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
And butt implants, which I think would be, I'm like, because I was always thinking about this because a lot of times fake boobs, sometimes they can feel real and other times they can feel very not real.
Right.
So I'm wondering if butt implants are the same, where like you can get more natural feeling ones.
I've never felt one.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
I felt plenty of titties.
Yeah.
But I know, because I don't know. How will I know unless they're naked?
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe from the look, like if it's protruding so far out unnaturally.
And I've seen them, like where you could set a drink on top of their ass. Yeah, I've seen them.
So, but I agree with you. I think huge boobs will always be popular. They're because they always draw attention. I mean, whether you want the attention or not, like if you went to the grocery store.
Never like that. So he asked me to wear low cut. But when I go to the grocery store.
I asked if you were going to wear low cut. You didn't have to.
Anyway, I understand. I totally understand. It's the big boob. It's the huge boob.
Yeah, Huge Boob Corner.
Yeah, so I understand. But when I go to the girl, I wear a lot of jean jackets. This one is not the one I usually wear because this one doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'll cover. I wear a lot of black and I wear a lot of t-shirts. So I hide the fat because I don't want the attention. But if I go out, like conventions or clubbing, then I'll show off the girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a time and a place.
There is.
Yeah. I'm not going to church like this.
No.
Not that I'm going to go to church.
but I mean, and granted, if there was any city you could walk around showing a lot of cleavage
Vegas?
and probably not attract as much attention as you normally would, it would be here.
I got to tell you, Vegas is my favorite spot. I think all the porn stars move here. This is our Shady Farms, right? Or Sun Valley or whatever you call it. It's where we come to die. So you kind of blend in. You don't have the biggest boobs. You're not the sparkly, shiny, new bling bling. And this is where you can just fade into the background a little bit and just chill. And I love that.
Yeah.
But when I go to my small town, I would never wear this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never. Yeah. I wear like a tank top and flannel, man. I'm covering it all. Yeah.
So I'm curious, do you have a favorite thing about your boobs over the years?
They're great. Like they're so nice looking. Like I look at my boobs and go, damn, they look great in webcam. They look great, and I am going to be 48 this year, and these are only 22. So I think my boobs are one of my best
They look
features.
great for 22?
Yeah, they're one of my best features. I love my boobs. I can't complain.
I mean, beyond the fact that they're money makers for you, like you just...
They're an asset.
Yeah.
They really... I'm not being cocky. They're just an asset to everything that I do, and they're my draw.
Yeah.
So I love my boobs.
Do you think that were they a tax write-off when you got them?
Were they what?
A tax write-off, because you could call it a business expense.
I don't think I had at that time the smarts to set up a corporation at that time.
Okay.
Now I write shit off, but maybe on my next one.
Well, I was going to say, would you classify a boob job as a tax write-off if you were,
So I get a little wary because I've been audited before and wrote that big check.
Okay.
So I try not to fuck with Uncle Sam. I get a CPA. I get my bookkeeping, my CPA.
Okay. All right.
I delegate. So I don't know. That would be a 50-50 because I never want to write that check again.
Okay, I get that. So I just thought, because it's, again, if it's for business purposes, and you could argue that you can make a case.
I could make a case, but I get
understand.
weary.
I understand your reticence.
Yeah.
So
don't want to do that again.
Yeah. So, but it's nice to hear that they're going to be around for at least a little while longer.
I still got time.
Yeah.
When's the retirement age? 65?
Okay, yeah, plenty of time.
Unless they up it to 75, but
yeah,
I'm getting out as soon as, when the 65 hits, I think. But I might be doing other things. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be on camera. Hopefully I'll get my directing skills down and
the horror movie stuff might take off a little more.
Who knows?
Do a whole big boob horror genre.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Yep.
Oh my God, that would be a super seller. What would we call it? Oh man.
Get that brainstorming going.
Right? All right, we're going to partner up if that happens because you're a fan of the big boob thing. So you would be like
that would
consultant.
That would draw me into the horror movie a little more. Not going to lie.
It's such a great concept.
I mean, huge boobs, I think, make everything better, personally. They can.
Could you imagine Rebecca Love directing? You're the consultant or producer, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That would be freaking amazing. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we have come to the end. I wish we could keep talking because you're an awesome guest, and I'm really really happy that you were able to make it, even though it was a little early today. So
I get up early. I'm just not functioning to 100%.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, well, and I hope that I hope to have you back on the show if you'd want to come back.
I would love to. You're a great conversationalist.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I do
it
my best.
flowed.
Yeah, I try not to be too overbearing though, because obviously it's about the guest, not about me as much. But
No, but it went back and forth.
Yeah, I
like
think
we were
so.
playing tennis. I love that.
yeah. So anyway, Rebecca, thank you again so much. You were so awesome. And to all of you out there in Huge Boob Land, we'll see you next time. Bye.